Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer, Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. Of course, as I always say, you know that already. But for those of you who are brand new, you didn't know it. So that's who I am. And I hope you hang around and watch my videos. But anyway, let's get into video 25. See what I've been up to. It's getting more and more interesting all the time. I think you guys will agree. But let's get on with this. Okay, gang, I think this is going to be the plan for the interchange tracks. What we've got here now is we've got 3 interchange tracks that are going to a yard lead starting right over there. Those 2 switches, or those 2 switches will bring cars down these 2 leads here or out from these 2 leads. The other track comes from the switches over there, which I'll show you in a minute. There's a curve switch there that will come down this lead right here, and this will act as a runaround. So the trains can be brought either into here and then run around to the other end and then run them back and then start shoving them into one of these tracks. Well, there's a lot of options there. But that'll allow for about a 30-inch train and about a 38-inch longest track. Maybe 34. I don't know exactly what they are. But I think that's more than sufficient. Where this piece of cork is laying, it will come off of that switch, the crossover right there. And it will come down this way somewhere. And then the logging facility will be over here. That's the game plan anyway. So let me take you down here to the other end. So here you can see the 2 switches that comprise the leads into the first 3 tracks right here. Then you can see this curve turnout right here, which takes you up here and over to this other track and then allows you to run around here back into the curve switch and go back into the yard, then pull stuff out, go all the way down there, pull your cars back and take them into the yard. So there's a couple of options here. So I think this is what I'm going to do. Anyway, this switch right here goes into the town for the switching in the city area or town area. The small switch there is going to hopefully go into the junkyard. And obviously the large switch there is coming, well, it's coming off the track that comes off the main line, allowing us to divide over here. Okay, gang, I was out here. This morning is Monday. I did make a little bit of progress. I have all of these turnouts. I have joiners on all these turnouts where they need to be, all the way down to that one that's pinned right there. And I have this track pinned in place where it's going to go. And I have insulators right up here. This track will be fed separately. This turnout will be fed from this track, which goes down here and right now just curves off to nowhere. But I've got to put my crossover in here, my runaround track. So I've got something that goes there. Hang on a minute. I've got turnouts to go there. And I think I showed you before, that track will go somewhere back there to the sawmill. So I'm making progress. I'll be back out here this afternoon and we'll see how far I can get. Okay, everybody, you can see my broken wire on my foam cutter, my knife there, some remnants of little pieces of foam, the other cutter of my foam cutter. I just about ruined the whole thing and I couldn't salvage the junkyard. So the junkyard is gone. Ha, fooled you. The junkyard's gone, but all the junkyard pieces are here. We're going to rebuild the junkyard into what we want it to be over here instead of the way it was. It was just too long. It needs to be widened up and not so long. So that's what we're going to do, and we're probably going to put it right in that area right there. But had you fooled for a minute. But I've got to take all these pieces out in the garage and clean all the ballast and junk off of them. And ironically, salvage them. And then we'll figure out how we're going to do the junkyard over here. It just wasn't working the way I had it. And I'm getting all this, as you guys have seen, I'm getting all this track in, and I've got to get some track in there and then work around, put the junkyard around the track. So that's what we're going to do. Don't know when that'll take place, but that's what we're going to do. Okay, everybody. Here's all the parts to the junkyard all cleaned up. Except the ones that didn't need cleaning, which are still out in the train room. But I cleaned them all up, washed them off, brushed them off. So we're ready to start over with the junkyard. And that's it for tonight. Okay, gang, this is the abandoned mine. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put it. I'm actually thinking about taking some of those trees out, taking some of this out down here and pushing it back in there. It's too far out here. But anyway, this is what the finished product looks like. And you guys probably recognize these two kits. They're very old. That back one is a Pola kit, later done by Atlas, later done by this one, later done by that one. And this one, I can't remember what this is, if it's another Pola kit or some other kit. But anyway, it's a abandoned gravel pit or gravel building. Anyway, I just blended the two together to create that. And it'll go in there somewhere. But I'm thinking around the corner over here a little bit further. Let me set it over there. If you can picture it being way up there to where I can get the, well, I might be able to add some mine track to that and get in there. But anyway, somewhere in there is what I'm thinking. So we will see how it goes. But that's the finished building. Okay, everybody, this is going to be the final resting place of the mine, the abandoned mine, and the mine entrance will be there. The building will be here. There'll be just railroad ties stretching from about here all the way over this way, looking like it tied in over here somewhere, but it will not be there. Just the ties. I think that looks pretty good as far as the scene goes. I like it a lot. It adds interest over there, even though it's not something that's serviceable. I like the look of it. So that's going to be its final resting place there. We'll come back and build the thing in at a later date. But at least I know where it goes, and I'm going to continue working on track. Okay, here we go. All the track is in place with the exception of what's going to go to the lumber mill. I think we've already discussed that. I've got to find it somewhere, wherever it is, and figure out where it's going to be and where it's going to fit. And then we'll put that track in. But all the rest of this interchange yard is ready to go. Comes down here. I was going to just put this track in as a storage track for yard switchers. But then I thought, Well, the yard switchers are here. Why don't I just make that a run out so that when you're switching cars down here, you can run back and switch out cars. So that's what I did. So that'll be at ground level. You can see where these tracks here are going to slope down to ground level from the cork. I have insulators everywhere I need insulators. All I've got to do is solder all the joints and put in feeders, and all of this track here should be ready to zoom. I may find that out later today. I did put some glue on this here since that's where it's going to be. Of course, it'll have a bumper down there at the end. I also glued this track up here simply because I have insulators right there that I don't want to pull apart. So that has all been glued. I'm waiting for glue to dry there before I take push pins out. And then, of course, as you guys already know, when I get rearranged here with the scrapyard, this switch here will take a track into the scrapyard. So you've got a track in the scrapyard there, and you're going to have a track going out down there to the lumber mill. So let me stand back again so that you can get a clear shot of what that is. There you go. I believe I have just about enough to make a video, but I don't know when that will be. Okay, gang, here's the sawmill just kind of sitting here. I can see right now that I'm probably going to have to use the Dremel tool to cut the pond to make it come out to the edge here. Not exactly sure how that's going to work, but we'll figure it out. We'll get it figured out. And as you can see, my soldering iron is sitting here because I just got done soldering all the joints. Well, not those, but all the joints that needed to be soldered along here. And as you can see, I also have all the thumbtacks out. The next thing I got to do is just put in some feeders. I'm not going to do that on this video because I want to make a beginning and end now, and I want to work on it tonight. So we're going to bypass that for right now, but we'll get to that on the next video, I'm assuming. Okay, everybody, that's it for video 25. As I always say, please go look at the vintage page. I'm going to try and upload some stuff tomorrow. No, I can't do it tomorrow. I got to go to the club. I'm going to, as soon as I can, I'm going to upload some more stuff to the vintage page. See if there's something there you need. And as usual, thanks for watching.